Okay everybody, welcome to Physiology Lab. In today's lab session we're going to learn about collecting expired air using these big bags that are hanging around the lab called Douglas bags, and we're going to use the expired air that we collect to calculate VO2 and VCO2. Okay? So VO2 being oxygen uptake or oxygen utilisation, and VCO2 being carbon dioxide production. Okay. So if anyone has a guess, or do they know why we might be interested in someone's VO2? Why would we be interested in the amount of oxygen someone utilises during an exercise test? Oh, sorry, I thought you were...
Oh, no.
He was scratching there.
He was, I saw him. He was putting his hand up, honestly.
Any ideas? Okay, so it could be from like an exercise perspective. We might want to know the fitness level of an individual. Okay, we might want to know how fit a sports person is when they're playing their event. Okay, so if we take something like running and we look at VO2, we can also look at the efficiency of that person. So let's say we've got everyone in here today to run on a treadmill at this set speed, and we calculated their oxygen utilisation using the technique we're going to do today. The person that uses the least amount of oxygen for a certain intensity of exercise is likely to have a greater aerobic fitness capacity. In the second term, we will look at VO2 max, where we'll actually exercise to our maximal performance, and so see at the maximum amount of oxygen we can utilise in a minute. But today, as mentioned, we are just going to look at VO2 and VCO2 from a sub-maximal exercise test using these bikes that are dotted around the lab. Okay? So I'm not going to speak for too long today because we've got quite a lot of things to get through. So has anyone used these Douglas bags before? No? So, very simple. They're just a big plastic bag. Okay? It has two valves on it. It has a sample tube, which we'll come on to later. So we'll use that when we're analysing our collected samples. And it has a larger tube. It's the air that goes into the bag through the mask. Okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to work in groups of 4. Yes, we'll do groups of 4, and you need one exerciser within your group. Your exerciser will have to wear one of these masks throughout the exercise. Okay, so obviously they come out of the plastic bag. This, you can see where the nose is there, goes over the full face. Obviously you take the visor and your mask. Then you have all this like a hairnet type thing that goes on the back of your head. So that sits on like this, and these bits connect into the mask. When you've got this on, you can adjust these Velcro straps and make it tighter if you need to, depending on the size of your head. When that's on, check it's working correctly. You can put your hand over this bit here and just try and blow, and if air comes up and you can sort of feel it on your eyelashes, then you need to have it a little bit tighter. If you just blow and it doesn't come up, then it's tight enough. Okay. This is a new piece of equipment we're using this year, so this is a filter. So these filters are sort of chemical grade filters. 99% of aerosols are stored within this filter when you're breathing. So that connects into the front bit of your mask. Okay? Then we have this piece of equipment called a two-way valve or a T-valve, for obvious reasons. If you think of it as a capital T, the bottom part of the T is the bit that attaches onto the filter. So that should be a really sort of tight, snug fit. But if you look really carefully, you have a bit that you can almost poke into and a flat bit. The flat bit needs to go onto the bottom of the tube. Okay? Then that's all connected. When you're breathing, you will breathe in from the lab. It will come into the T-valve, obviously into your mouth. When you breathe out, that side will close and the air will go eventually into the bag. Okay? So your participant will wear this mask throughout the 12 minutes of the exercise test. Okay. Then onto our Douglas bags. So we'll have the tubing connected onto here, which is eventually connected to our participant. We're going to be doing 3-minute stages of this exercise test. So, if you go on to page 2 of your handouts, I've put in almost like a protocol which you can do. So we're going to do some cycling, as you can see with the bikes out here, and I've done a 60 watt stage followed by 90 watt, 120, then 168 watt stage. Okay, so 3 stages, all 3 minutes long. In the last minute of each of those 3-minute stages, you're going to collect expired air. So as mentioned, this is on throughout. When you get to 2 minutes, you're going to turn this valve. A person in the group will turn the valve, so then we are collecting air into the Douglas bag. On 3 minutes, we release it again, so then now they're breathing into the left. We will change the bag then, so that's bag 1 done. We have more weight on the basket, on the bikes, I'll show you that in a second. So we increase the intensity, we go on to the next bag, then on 2 minutes at the second stage, ready to collect the air again, we turn the valve, and it goes into the bag. Okay? So we do 4 3-minute stages, all with an increase in intensity as we go along. Okay? Is that clear for everybody? Okay, so these bits in here, you can follow these, unless you're some kind of elite cyclist, it might be too easy for you. So you can add on some extra weight at the end. Okay, so we're going to exercise on these bikes. So these are called Monarch cyclodometers. And they look a bit different to the bikes you normally see in a gym. The main difference is the resistance is controlled by this basket on the front of the bike. Okay? So, could I just volunteer just to sit on the bike and turn the pedals around for me? So when you're exercising in this test, you're going to be cycling at 60 RPM. So on the top of this screen at the front, there is a number. We're going to try and keep it as close to 60 as possible. Okay? So that's quite hard, so anything between 55 and 65 is fine. Then your bike should have a series of weights at the side. If there isn't, you can find more weights on a trolley over there. When cycling at 60 RPM, every 100 grams you add to the basket will make it 6 watts harder. So increase the wattage by 6. So these ones, the little ones, are 100 grams. So I put that onto the basket, and that will now be 6 more watts harder for Will to cycle. Should mention as well, so with just the basket on, cycling at 60 RPM, that is 60 watts. Okay, that's almost at your first stage. So, if I put this one on, so 0.5 kilograms, that's the basket, that is now 90 watts. So that's a little bit harder, Will. Okay. Then, obviously another one on, that would be 120 watts. Okay, and they should feel it's a little bit harder. Okay, so when you're actually doing the test, the first stage should be really, really straightforward, really, really easy, and get progressively harder at each 3-minute stage. Okay, thanks for